I'm good. I'm good. I have a very strong relationship with God, so prayer definitely works for me. I have children and grandchildren who are watching me, who are encouraged by what I do, and they're proud of me right now, and that's really what matters, The change starts at home, so as long as you have a support system that believes in what you're doing and supports you in what you're doing, you have everything you need to go out there and fight the good fight. And for those that don't, there's a community of people here to help you. So you can go to places like morethanavote.org. There are many different places that will encourage you, inform you, and they will put you with groups of people that feel like you, that are ready to take action. So no one has to go about this alone if they want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, we're stronger together. People have been saying it, but that has much more meaning now that we are in our movement, not just this moment. Bumby, it has been an education, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Keep fighting the good fight.
Keep up the good fight.
Yeah, la la.
So our next guest, I have to admit, I'm a fan, but there are so many different people that we could talk to, and I thought it was so imperative that we speak with her. You know her as Molly on the huge, successful show Insecure, HBO's Insecure. She also has a comedy special highlighting her Nigerian roots, and she's an amazing podcaster. Let's welcome in Yvonne Orji, everyone. You have such of making things funny, giving us our medicine with some candy, right? The humor and the
Yeah.
healing. You bring all of that now as you look across this country and how everyone is so broken and so upset. If it's not social injustice, it's the pandemic, it's depression, it's unemployment, the list goes on and on. How are you doing, quite frankly?
I am I'm rediscovering self in a way that is hard but necessary, that will lead to ultimate joy. I know it sounds like a lot, but they think that God put all of us on a global timeout. Like we just, America hasn't done as good as other people when it comes to timeouts because everyone else is out playing at recess, and we look and really learn the lesson that we're supposed to learn from the. I thought I was gonna be able to rest like everybody else, and God's like, "Nah, we got work to do."
You know what? And I think that's what everybody is saying about 2020. It's demanding that we be better. And you said it's a global timeout. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's like everyone sit down, be humble, to quote the great prophet Kendrick Lamar. But like, no, seriously, sit down and let's reevaluate some things. Let us unearth and shake up the things that we have been trying to hide. I think America is going through an unraveling right now, a much needed, a much necessary one. And I think all eyes on us, right? There is no, oh, I was on the subway for an hour, so I didn't miss that thing that happened. No, everybody was home. Everybody, was watching when George Floyd died, and everybody, no one could hide it. Everyone was watching when Amy Cooper called the cops. Like, this is a time where it's like, oh, we can't pretend it away. We can't excuse it away. No, 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 no. It's a global timeout. Sit down, watch, and let's learn. And globally, it's like, hey, we were going business as usual, but it ain't usual no more. Like that. That's old. Anytime change occurs, it's very uncomfortable. And so
The minorities, we've been comfortable with being uncomfortable because that to me explains just the existence for whatever we want to do, how we break into our careers, how we live our lives, how we find ourselves one of the few or one of the first. And that's a lonely road. When you look at and when you talk about this global timeout, everybody had to pay attention to Amy Cooper, everyone had to pay attention to George Floyd. How is that helping us as a people, as a country during our global timeout?
I think, well, one, we're not minorities, Carrie. You already know it. It's like these labels that they put on us. It's
Yeah.
like the same way of saying like black on black violence. Also, there's no white on white violence. It's branding,
Yeah.
right? It's all
Yeah.
branding.
You're right. You're
It's
right.
like white people kill white people every single day. So no, there is no black on black violence. And if you say black on black violence, well then let's brand white on white violence. Like I watch
Mhm.
Investigation Discovery. Ain't too many of us been featured. So, I just even like but to answer your question, what does that do? I think what everyone expected is what has happened in the past when the world was still open, right? In that, okay, you had everyone from Trayvon Martin to Castillo to Sandra Bland. You had all of these lives lost, and black people made some noise. We rioted, we got out in the streets, we started the Black Lives Matter movement, all of those things. And then white people kind of just like, oh, let's give them something, and then it's just like, is it over? It's like Oscars so black. Okay, okay, good. We gave some Oscars. Are we good now? Like, are we even?
Mhm.
And now it's just
Mhm.
like, oh no 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 no. This is not about like a band-aid. It's like, yo, we might have to amputate the leg a little bit, but it's all right because we're gonna by amputating the leg, we're gonna save the body. And so I think that's what's happening now. Like America is realizing, like, oh, black people aren't just making a little bit of noise. Like the protests are still out, the conversations are still being had, the change is still being demanded, and I think they're seeing, oh, this is not going no way, and no, it's not, because we need systematic change.
What a beautiful way to explore what is happening and describe our country. We might have to amputate the leg, but that's to save the body. That's what's happening right now. That's beautiful, Yvonne. And to that end, I have to ask you this because the way that we do that, we use our voice. And our voice right now in this world, in this country, is our vote. And everyone talks about voting and how important it is, but I feel like more than ever, we understand that it's not just about voting every 4 years for the man in office, it's about your local elections. It's the district attorney, the people who have the power to bring charges against police if police brutality is an issue in your community. If you care about your school district, you can run for the school board. I ask this of you, right? Your parents are from Nigeria. You are Nigerian. You talk about that very lovingly. What does voting mean for you?
I think voting is power. I remember, I became a naturalized citizen back in the 90s, when because I was still a minor. My mom naturalized, and so we were able to do it under her. And just even that power of like, we're American citizens and all the access that we have by being citizens. One of those accesses and those access to power being voting. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because not only do we have the opportunity to be in this country, but now we can be of the country. We can be of the systems. We can be of the rules. We can be of what it actually affords. But I think going back to your earlier comment about just the setup of systems, I think we are done a disservice. Either it's schools or whatever it is, and I'm not putting teachers on blast. I think teachers do a phenomenal job, but for some reason, we racist.
Sim.
I know too many parents who are like, this child of mine, I do love them, but hey, who,
Sim.
where can I drop them off? And I do think that there's a disservice
Sim.
done because, again, when we talk about
Sim.
voting, to your point, we talk about every 4 years. It's important to vote for the presidency. We don't realize,
Eu
like,
sou,
oh, snap,
pra mim
we
tem
actually can
dois,
vote
pra mim
about,
tem
like,
dois
how much our libraries get.
ancestrais, que
It's
eu
like
sou um
small things like that, but
ancestral.
they make a big difference.
When you think of voter suppression in this country, what does it look like for you?
It's the
É
systems. When we talk
tu,
about
é
voter
tu,
suppression, we also talk about systematic racism, right? It's all
é
the
tu.
systems that set up, and we've normalized. Okay, it should be a luxury. It should be built into the system. It should be built into
Tô
the
te
fabric of
vendo.
how we vote. But maybe you'll be able to get
Aham,
this luxury in order to enable you to go
tô
vote.
no
Think about
celular. Tá no
everything
celular, tá no celular esse daí.
disenfranchised, marginalized black person has to endure in a day. So in a day, you need to get to work. If something happens to your
Faz
car, if something
amizade.
happens to your child care, if something happens to, there's so many factors along the
Pulei.
way that can send you into a tailspin as an American. And then you add on as a person of color.
Pulei.
If you're just trying to get to vote and you already have to go through all of these hurdles and hoops in your everyday
Tá?
life,
Pulei.
Imagine the one day when your voice really is supposed to matter the most in this country, but then you also see all the times that you tried to have your voice matter, and then it's been shut down, repressed, told it doesn't matter, and then you're kind of like,
Não, é brincadeira,
How
isso
do we
tudo.
keep hope though?
15 minutos.
If I'm watching this right now, I want
Mano, sabe o que eu vou fazer agora?
People stay hopeful.
Eu vou lá pra praça, não quero ver esse evento não, de merda.
because have you met black people?
Evento bosta, né? Caraca, agora o Pennywise. O Pennywise agora tocou. A mulher sorrindo.
Colonization, through segregation, through
Eu acho que... tem...
black,
Tem... Todo mundo tá no... Pra mim, todo mundo tá no cinema e outro aqui tá na praça.
that was a written law. And look at us now. We are
Um no cinema e... Não, um monte no cinema e um na praça?
what I think about in terms of giving us hope, right? We're making a lot of people nervous right now, Carrie.
Sim, aqui não...
A lot of people nervous right now because they're like, dang, we put all these obstacles in their way, and these jokers are resilient. But that should give us hope. That should give us hope.
Então...
We can't stop, won't stop. I mean, I went to the school of Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag, Harlem shaking it right now. We can't stop, won't stop. And I think that's our motto. We can't stop
Você na
voting and we
segunda
won't stop voting.
pedra?
We can't stop marching and we won't stop marching. We can't stop
não.
thriving and we won't stop thriving.
To that end, because you led me directly there, I've been asking everyone who's appeared on this platform, what does activism look like? And I feel like back in the day, we had an idea.
No.
Yes, it is marching. Yes, it is protesting. Yes, it is speaking out against things that we feel are not right or unjust. But talk to me about what activism looks like for Yvonne Orji.
Você tá com
Activism, I think the beauty of activism is that it has many faces, right? You're going to have the people on the front lines. Like, you know what? Martin Luther King marched, but there were a lot of women who were in the homes like, hey, BT Dubs, when they come back, this is how we support all the people who are marching on the front lines. And we're going to be here doing what we know to do best here. And you know what? Somebody needs to bail them out of jail so now we need to be in the community, getting money or whatever it is. So it's like everybody has a position to play. And so play your position like a shortstop, bruh. So whoever you are and whatever you do, play your position. So activism could look like, you know what? I'm not the one that's on the front line, but you know what? My pockets go deep, so I'm gonna support the people on the front line. You know, I'm a comedian. Black joy is a form of activism.
There's always a call for entertainers or celebrities that have the platform to do something. Why aren't you speaking out? I'm not a believer in thinking that it's mandatory, like you said, everyone can be an activist and be activated in different ways. But talk to me about
serve para ver os negros, para aprender.
It even inspires you to say more and use your platform to do more.
Beneath the surface of what we do, like Niecy Nash says, it's the who, right? The who is the person who's going to be like, hey, let me call this out. Either blind racism,
mas esse show viva de negro.
Of ways that we can be better, in terms of ways that we can actually be more uplifting to the community that you may not even realize.
Vai acontecer evento e tu vai ganhar uma dança, paraquedas e uma skin.
Vote our people to get out and vote this coming election.
Yeah,
uma skin que nem existe no jogo ainda, nunca assisti. Mas a gente vai conseguir ela.
If you think you're tired now, I'm telling you right now, we cannot.
Tem que assistir o evento, senão tu não vai.
I understand that it may be hard to figure out who to vote for.
Tô mesmo.
But at the end of the day, we gotta vote for our families. We gotta vote for our legacy. We gotta vote for continued progress. We have to vote for upward mobility. We have to vote for equality in a way that is long lasting. And if we succeeded before, we can do it again. We talk about the hope. This is the time. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to pretend a way that we haven't made progress. We have. There's still much more to be done. And you know what? We might have to get to a point where we pass the baton to our children and our children's children, but we still have work to do now for that generation.
Não, tô numa tirolesa.
Molly, but you are not Molly, but I love you so much as Molly on HBO's Insecure. You are an amazing podcaster, Jesus and Joloff. Shout out to Lovey. And then we also have movies. Like you, The World, you're a model, a cover model. Also, wait, don't let me forget your hugely successful stand-up comedy special on HBO. Girl, you doing it all. And I am so grateful. You are truly the dream, not just the American dream. You're the black girl, brown girl, do it all dream, the immigrant dream, everything. You're a beautiful, beautiful.
No.
I really, really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Yvonne Orji, ladies and gentlemen, nothing but the best and excellence personified. Thank you so much.
I love you so much, Mama. Mwah.
Eita, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, la.
So Atlanta has been one of the hotbeds in terms of political unrest and social injustice. We've seen so much happen in that city, and we've also seen so much
chato ganhar uma skin.
One of our very own founding fathers of the civil rights movement.
Mas tu tem que assistir o evento
para ganhar skin. To talk about voting,
esse evento tá dentro da skin, se você não sabe.
Atlanta's very own Russ joins us now on We the People. Russ, I'm not going to fan out and tell you what some of my favorite songs were that I listened to repeat on yours. We're going to get to the topic at hand. So we got to talk about recently you did an interview where you shared your outlook on culture and music, and you also were very candid about the fact that
então bora ficar brincando por aí, bora ficar brincando por aí.
Tell everybody about what that means.
As like it's very obvious, I'm white.
Também tô.
Black culture.
Quer que tá aí entrar?
So I feel like if you're a white person.
Que aí entra pra gente se encontrar. Beleza, falou. Que você não quer que tá aí entrar? Então, beleza, falou. Entra! No 3, tu clica pronto. No 3. Tá? Feito chato do caraca. Não é? Ó, já tá no lobby? Ó, no 3. 1, 2, 3. Clica pronto. Clicou? Tá, agora espera. Tá na tela de carregamento? Tá na tela de carregamento? Também fui pra tela de carregamento. Deixa eu ver. Comunidade Brasil? As comunidades. Cadê? Fortnite Brasil? Ah, Fortnite Brasil? Tô. Aqui tem. Pera aí. É esse daqui, olha. Que tem. Que é o Fortnite e um dinheirinho. Esse. Que tá na praça. Cadê? Aguentou. Você tá onde? Onde é que você tá? Deixa eu ver se eu te acho aqui. Não, você não tá comigo. Eu acho. Você não tá comigo. Kita entra. Pera aí, deixa eu falar aqui com o cara. Lâmpada de trotas.
And I decided to wear t-shirts with a message on them because I figured what better time to use a platform than people. So one of the t-shirts I wore was if you want to change the system, speak up.
Mano, o Zika tá perdendo o evento de skin. O Zika tá perdendo o evento de skin aqui. Tá burro, viu, Zika?
Been happening, the police brutality against innocent black people. I was like, man, I'm not the biggest
Zika! Sabia que tu tá perdendo o evento de skin?
And turn into some money, and I know they're down for the cause because it's merch, it's a good thing. And I've always been outspoken anyway, you know. And so, how am I going to be iconic not be outspoken about racism?
And then I gotta ask you this, because Glow. So that gives you a heads up, depending for so many people, because you're in the crux of that beautiful black city where there are so many wonderful black leaders, home of so much great music and things that speak to our culture right now. And we are really, really getting our word out, especially with this platform today, and saying that we must use our voice to vote. Talk to me about what the importance of voting for you in this upcoming election.
Yeah, so full transparency, I had never voted before, ever. And because,
Hello.
And I don't know.
Hello.
No, but I just think that it's got to, now this is a bit of a
Expulso
point for me, because obviously it's been past the breaking point for black people. I think that as a whole, the young people need to go out and vote, because we're the ones that never show up. You know what I mean? We never show up to vote, but we're the future. So it's like, look, we got to go out there and vote. And whatever happens, but at least we did our part. You got to do your part.
You're very candid in saying that you just decided to vote, and I think there's a beautiful irony in the fact that you have your saying.
Vai pra pare, sem ser da barra rápida, vai na pare, clica options no cara e vai aparecer expulsar e te expulsa.
Honestly, because
vai pra pare, vai na pare, clica options no cara que tu quer e vai aparecer expulsar e pronto, você tá entendendo?
I was vocal about it, but that...
Quem tá falando? Options! Options! Você tava clicando X. Options. 20. Não! Options, tu clica options. Ou tu é burro?
Like, I need to raise money.
Vou quitar dessa par e tu entra. Vou quitar dessa par e tu entra. Brr, brr, brr. Brr, 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 brr. Brr, 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 brr.
Good to know that. Oi. And that's the problem. I think the mentality of like, my vote doesn't matter needs to be changed to, my vote, albeit small, does matter. It's a role I'm playing in that. He and she plays their part.
Alô.
Then we make a difference, but
Pronto.
I have a feeling it's gonna feel very, very bigger than me. I mean, I think when you that's when you start wanting to do your part and contribute. So voting is an easy way to give,
Não, sou uma renegade.
To whom much is given, much is required, and you have been given a huge platform, and we are so grateful for you, Russ. Philanthropist, artist,
não, sou uma renegade normal.
First-time voter. We appreciate you for doing this, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Que isso? Os caras.
Yeah, la.
So cities like Atlanta.
Meu Deus, de novo não!
Front of the discussions, especially now in this country, when we're talking about
Quita, eu não quero assistir esse show, é um lixo.
Police brutality and what we can do in this country. Again, we're continuing our conversation, letting you know that your voice
é um lixo, falou.
Voice. We can change where we are in this country. Currently, I'd like to welcome in.
Cara, mentira, a gente não ganha skin, nem nada. Esse evento é só dos pretos. Isso daqui é tipo escola. Estão ensinando, eles são burros. Meu Deus, a gente é muito burro. Quita, velho, quita. Esse evento tá uma merda. Esse evento tá uma merda.
What has been the hardest thing for you to deal with?
The hardest thing for me to deal with this last month has just been going from the virus shutting everything
Verdade.
down to
Quita.
call to action.
Quero jogar uma dupla.
We've had the
Mano, vou parar de live aqui, uma merda.